Good morning. This is your 10 a.m. daily weather briefing, continuing with some cloudy conditions this morning as temperatures have risen into the mid 60s. Looking at mild temperatures as we move ahead today, still seeing slightly breezy conditions, staying below that wind advisory criteria at this time, but expecting a good chance of seeing a wind advisory as we move through the day today. If we take a look at the current surface analysis, we have this warm boundary that lifted through the area and sitting just to our north. It's bringing in that southwesterly flow and some warmer temperatures in the area today. We had this line of showers off to the north and northwest. It's going to continue to linger but stay well north of the area today. It's going to try to start to sink southward as we move into our Friday with a backdoor cold front, and that will very much play a significant role in how our weather plays out over the next 24 to 48 hours. Looking at the upper level winds this morning, strongest winds near the surface out of the south at 42 knots and becoming more west-southwesterly as we go up through the mid and upper levels here, staying in the 30 to 40 knot range overall through the entire column, and seeing our freezing level at 12,700 feet. Looking at the current visible satellite as well as the composite radar, we can see that shower activity well to the north of the area, sinking down over the northern parts of the Delmarva Peninsula. Again, overall, maybe a light sprinkle through the morning hours, but expecting dry conditions to prevail as we move through today with no precipitation or lightning, just seeing cloudy conditions with possibly a few peaks of sun as we get later in the afternoon. We'll take a look at the high-resolution model for the next 48 hours. Again, as mentioned, dry weather as we move through today. Today, we'll see breezy conditions. Again, good chance or likely chance of seeing a wind advisory as we move through the later morning and into the afternoon after these low clouds start to lift out of the area. But dry conditions as we go through the overnight time frame will stay breezy, and we'll have another chance for some low clouds building in as we move into the early morning hours of Friday. And as that boundary tries to sink further south, we'll see a chance of a few light showers pushing through the area as we get just prior to sunrise tomorrow and through the morning hours of tomorrow. It looks to be about a 30% chance of seeing that occur as we start the day on Friday. Again, it's going to really depend on how far this boundary shifts south and at what time through the day on Friday. And that will also play an important role in the temperatures. We'll likely start off with some mild temperatures. And then as that boundary drops through, we'll see those winds shifting more out of the northeast. It's going to cool things down as we go into the afternoon. And then going into Friday evening, that boundary lifts once again back north, and it's going to bring a better chance of some shower activity moving in late Friday into the early morning hours of Saturday. We'll see the HER model here a bit slower than some of the other models, but nonetheless looks like a good chance of seeing a few showers around Friday evening into early Saturday morning, possibly even a thunderstorm with that activity pushing through the area. And we should see that wrap up as we get into the start of the day on Saturday with that boundary lifting north of the area. And once again, we'll bring some mild temperatures back into the area for Saturday with a return of some southerly flow. As we look at the European model here zoomed out, we see that boundary lifting north of the area, looking at dry conditions prevailing as we move through the remainder of Saturday and into Saturday evening, as well through much of the day on Sunday. We'll see some breezy conditions through that time period, though, and then as we get later in the day, Sunday and into Sunday evening, a more potent cold front will push through the area with some upper level support behind it, bringing a likely chance of showers and possibly some thunderstorms with this activity as well. And that will linger into the first part of the day on Monday. And it does look like this boundary will be slow to push off to our southeast, so possibly lingering close enough to keep a few showers around through the day on Monday into late Monday, but do expect most of the activity to end by Monday morning with just a chance for some lingering showers. And as we get into the middle part of the week, we'll see quite a shift in the temperatures, becoming much cooler with some below average temperatures expected as this trough sets up in over the region. It does keep things dry and breezy, but we'll see those cooler temperatures as we move through the middle of the week. So looking at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, do have red conditions for our winds that are above 25 knots through the daytime hours and into the late afternoon today. Likely Not seeing those winds get as high right now with that low cloud, but as that starts to break up, we'll expect those winds to peak out of the southwest, 15 to 20 knots, gusting up to 30 knots this afternoon. We'll see some mild temperatures with a high expected around 74 degrees, and we do continue with that orange risk this morning for some of that low cloud activity still lingering in the area. As mentioned, a chance of a few peaks of sun as we get into the later afternoon before clouds start to build back in, becoming overcast once again. Won't see as strong of gusts as we move through the overnight hours and early morning hours of Friday, but still seeing a slightly breezy sustained wind around 10 to 15 knots. So we do go back to green conditions for those winds, but we will pick up a yellow risk for some reduced ceilings with some possible low clouds building back in once again. And as we get past the 6 a.m. time frame, so we're going to start to see a chance of a few light showers possibly moving through the area. Tides are running normal, and then Friday we'll start off with that chance of some light rain showers around the area early. Likely see things dry out through the middle of the day as that boundary pushes through, and then once again as that boundary lifts back north, possibly seeing some showers later in the day, and just a very slight chance of seeing a thunderstorm tomorrow. Otherwise warm, cooler during the afternoon, but warm early with a high of 73, and we'll see some slightly breezy conditions. So yellow for that precip chance tomorrow. Yellow for those elevated winds will likely stay below the 25 knot threshold. We can't rule out maybe a brief period of some peak gust exceeding that, and then we'll see a chance for some reduced ceilings with that activity as well. So yellow for that. As we go into Friday evening, that's when we'll see that better chance for some showers moving through, as well as a slight chance of a thunderstorm. So an orange risk for precip Friday evening, yellow risk for lightning, and then a chance for some reduced ceilings and visibilities with that activity, as well as a chance for some lingering low clouds as we go into early on Saturday. Cooler temperatures with a low of 52 degrees. And then Saturday will stay fairly mild as that boundary lifts back north, keeping clouds around with a chance for some lingering clouds early on, and then we'll see some decreasing clouds later in the day. Slightly breezy conditions, but overall high of 70 degrees and just a yellow risk for those low clouds early in the day. Extended forecast here will stay mostly dry as we move through Sunday. Another warm day and breezy day with a high of 78 degrees, and we'll pick up that rain and thunderstorm chance as we go into the evening time frame, looking at a 70% chance with that boundary pushing through, lingering into the early morning hours of Monday, and then keeping a 20% chance through the day on Monday, possibly some lingering showers around if that boundary kind of stalls as it pushes through the area. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, continued breezy conditions through the day, and some cooler temperatures with a high of 60 degrees, and we really start to see a cool down as we move through the middle of the week, partly to mostly cloudy and breezy as we move through the day on Tuesday, highs in the upper 50s, and then back into the lower 50s as we go into Wednesday with some partly cloudy and possibly some breezy conditions for Wednesday as well, and possibly seeing those low temperatures once again dipping back down towards the freezing mark as we get into the middle of the week. That's going to wrap up the 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8:15 and 10 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your day.